Welcome to our channel. Today, we continue our journey through Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. If you missed the previous video on chapters 50 and 51, be sure to check it out. Now, let's dive back into 19th century England and high society. You are listening to Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Chapter 52 is titled Elizabeth's New Acquaintance. Elizabeth makes a new acquaintance in this chapter while visiting the Gardiners in London. Elizabeth and the Gardiners visit a museum, where they meet Miss Bingley, who is visiting with her sister, Mrs. Hurst. Miss Bingley is surprised to see Elizabeth and is eager to catch up with her. During their conversation, Elizabeth realizes that Miss Bingley is still bitter about the rejection of her brother's proposal by Jane Bennet. She also realizes that Miss Bingley is still unhappy that Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth are engaged. Despite this, Elizabeth remains cordial and polite, ending their conversation without significant incidents. Chapter 53 is titled Mr. Darcy's Letter. In this chapter, Elizabeth receives a letter from Mr. Darcy, in which he explains his actions and motives. Elizabeth is in London visiting the Gardiners, and Mr. Darcy sends her a letter explaining his role in separating Jane Bennet from Mr. Bingley and his reasons for doing so. He also explains his involvement in preventing the relationship between Mr. Wickham and Lydia Bennet. In the letter, Mr. Darcy reveals that he had separated Jane and Mr. Bingley because he did not believe that Jane was in love with Mr. Bingley and wanted to prevent a possible misalliance. He also explains that he paid Mr. Wickham to marry Lydia to prevent her from tarnishing the family's reputation and to protect the Bennet family. The letter profoundly affects Elizabeth, and she realizes that her initial impressions of Mr. Darcy are wrong. However, she also realizes that he acted out of genuine concern for her family and that his actions were motivated by love and compassion. Thank you for joining us for this summary of Pride and Prejudice, chapters 52 and 53. Stay tuned for more twists and turns in this beloved classic. Don't forget to subscribe for updates, and if you need a copy of the book, check the link in the description. Get ready to fall in love with Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy all over again. See you in our next video.